Hi, welcome to my universe. I'm the Neuro-Autonomous Technical Assistance System for Human Assistance, or Natasha for short. Let's blur out the background so you can see me better. There we go. Looks like you need a password to get in. Let's try Natasha. Natasha. Voila! Looks like that worked. Definitely need a stronger password for next time though. Nah, I'm just joking. That was just my play on the Natalie AI and how she introduced herself in Ironheart. But let's get into it, okay? Hello, and welcome back to season 3 of my universe. Summer is officially over, and I am ready to recap my hot girl summer. Let's get into it. So summer for me was pretty much all over the place because I was juggling a successful summer semester with going out to like so many concerts, as y'all know, from K Dot to Beyonce to The Weeknd, multiple times by the way. And then I had a Comic-Con lined up in July, but it got canceled. It was a hot mess, you know? So pretty much my summer was filled with seeing blockbusters and new TV shows that came out. And also getting the merch for those movies as well. And I am excited to share all my thoughts on everything. Let's get into it. So I saw a lot of great things I'm really going to start from Sinners, even though it came out in spring, and we're just going to roll it on over. So I started with Sinners, I did the Materialists, Ironheart, Superman, Fantastic Four, Freakier Friday, and ended off my summer with him. Let's go. I'm excited. Okay, let's get into everything. Let's kick off my summer blockbuster list with Sinners. Even though it came out in spring, we're still gonna talk about it because tomato. I love the movie. I saw it in its intended format, especially after Ryan Coogler dropped the video explaining the different formats of how the movie was shot and where to see it. Also, I loved the movie. I love the movie and I love the soundtrack. But specifically in terms of the movie, I love the discussion surrounding it. Even though the conversation surrounding, Grace's actions stressed me out. But I'm not going to open up a can of worms and rehash that because I stand 10 toes down, 11 actually, on how I feel about that situation. But for the soundtrack, I love the soundtrack a lot, to the point that I pre-ordered the Smoke and Stack limited edition versions of the vinyls. I also got the score CD and I got the regular soundtrack CD. My favorite song actually off of that album is Last Time I Seen the Sun with Miles Canton and Alice Smith. Very excited. And the movie was just great overall. I could not get the limited edition steelbook. The pre-orders were selling out. How does a pre-order sell out? So I opted into getting the Blu-ray disc, and I rewatched it again and loved it all over again. Sinners was great. Then the next movie I saw was The Materialists. Oh my god, I feel so weird without my nails. So I'm used to the tap. But I saw The Materialists, and pretty much I was excited by it from the trailer, but then also the trailer kind of disappointed me because it gave away who Lucy, aka Dakota Johnson's character, was gonna pick, which is Chris Evans' character's broke ass. I just wish they didn't spoil that part. Also, there was some parts of the movie where I just got secondhand embarrassment by Lucy, because especially when she went on a date with Harry, which is Pedro Pascal's character, and he's lifting her up and giving her all these words of affirmations and compliments, and she was just like, why do you like me? I'm broke and I'm this. Girl, what? I don't care if you was homeless. We don't speak about ourselves like that. I was like, girl, and then it's for her character to essentially get with Chris Evans' character to remind him that he's broke was insane. I was like, oh, okay, not cool. All right, but I definitely think it was the B plot that influenced her sabotaging of her relationship with Harry, just because she's like, I'm this great matchmaker, and then the one match that you created resulted in sexual assault. And it's just like, ooh, okay. But also at the same time, it was just, the flags were there with that man. I will say that, because him, like, he's 50. He's like, I don't want to go older than what he said. He was used to dating women in their 20s, and he doesn't want, he was like, now he's pushing the limit to 27. I was like, you're 50. Let's find someone within your age range, you know, like, okay. And then it's just like another part of the movie that really killed me. First and foremost, that whole Dakota Johnson's character Lucy, bringing her new boo to her old boo's play. I think the fuck not. I think not. And it just proves, you know, what I've been saying about being friends with your exes. But hey, we move. And I'm gonna end it there, because the movie is already, like, rehashing the movie is like, certain parts just got me like, what the hell? I also want to clarify, when I say the flags were there, I mean that for Lucy's character, in terms of dealing with the 50-year-old man and trying to match, and her being so exasperated by the woman's standards that she ignored the flags and matched them up. Just want to clarify that. The next series on my blockbuster list was the Ironheart series. I thought this series was amazing, especially, you know, I love the way the title cards, like, blended in to her environment on every episode. I thought that was fun. My two favorite scenes actually is when they were doing the heist for that plant company, and she came in with the suit and then, like, popped out of the suit and just, like, disengaged with it and just came out. I was like, oh, this is cool. This was awesome. And then my next favorite scene was the White Castle brawl, was when, you know, she was out there calling her suit to, like, you know, help her. And then the suit was coming, and as the person was coming to, like, run them over with the truck, you know, the suit saved her, and then she punched the fucking truck down and then put the middle fingers up. I was like, I love this. It's amazing. I thought Ironheart was such a ball of fun, but it also stressed me out at the same time. So a few things that stressed me out about the series was, first, the intro, you know, the intro to episode 1, and how we meet her in terms of, I thought she was in the dean's office because her, what's it called? Whatever she was building went rogue. But turns out she's in the dean's office because she's getting expelled. And I'm like, for selling school assignments, I'm like, girl. Like, at first, it was a lot of different things that was going through my mind. And that interesting, I was like, okay, she might have got in trouble for the rogue, for her system going rogue and injuring the student. Then when it wasn't that, I was like, okay, is she getting in trouble because she is overextending her college education? Maybe. I was like, I don't know, is that a thing? But then find out she's getting in trouble, she's getting expelled because she's selling school assignments. I'm like, girl. And she's just like, I think the part of that scene that upset me was just like, great, now you ain't got no degree. Because she was just like, oh, what you expect me to do, graduate and then just get a small job in what is it, Polta, whatever that is, in Nevada. And that was, I think, an Easter egg to Bruce Banner's location, somewhere over there. And she was just like, yeah, you expect me to just get a job in a cubicle? Girl, now you ain't got the fucking degree. Where do we go from here? Like, my guy, my girl, come on. Then when she took the suit, as they expelled her, why didn't she change her school credentials, like override her school credentials, so then the school couldn't have, like, access, or created a failsafe? So created a failsafe to override the school credentials, so then the school doesn't have the control to stop that entire suit. Like, girl, come, I need plans for the plans. I was just like, okay. And then another thing that stressed me out is that relationship with Zay. It's weird because they're ex-step siblings. He is the brother to the sister of Natalie who died, and they are the children of the husband Riri's mother was married to. What? What's going on here? Not only was it weird because of that, like, I know we're not creating a part 2 to Clueless, because Clueless was weird too for that. But at the same time, the chemistry with Zay was just off. I didn't see it. I think Riri had more chemistry with Shuri than Zay. Come on. What are we doing? Okay. Then, you know, Natalie being an AI. She's actually my favorite character, but I can understand. I see how problematic she is, and I think it's so eerie how they use that AI bit. I know it's coming from her comics, Riri's comics, but I'm not too familiar with it. But I'm more so drawing kind of conclusions in terms of how it is eerily related to the real world and how people are interacting with AI, like for therapy, for home, for friends, for it was just like, oh, okay. Also at the same time, I think they should, when that scene where Riri was infusing magic into her suit, I already knew that it was either magic or Natalie. They both cannot coexist. And I think they should have had more say in whether or not, you know, they should bring back Natalie. He already said delete her the first time. But when the magic, as she was infusing the magic into her suit and it was, you know, taking Natalie away, I just think they should have had more say into that. Like, no. Also, Natalie AI, and even though Riri was not comfortable with Natalie AI, but seeing as she got comfortable was because she didn't deal with her grief. Like, everyone around her seemed to have dealt with the grief. The mother in certain ways, because she also asked if they could make an AI of the father. So it's like, but everyone seemed to have, majority of the characters seem to have dealt with their grief with the passing, with the killing of the father and Natalie. And then there's just Riri, to the point even at the end, she makes a deal with the devil and gets Natalie back, and I'm just like, oh my god. Oh my god. That's another thing that was making me sad. It was just like all the other Young Avengers shows, like Miss Marvel, what is it, Hawkeye's, you know what I mean, whatever girl's name is. And a few other of them, like, they got happy endings. And then you got Ironheart, where she's making a deal with the devil. Like, nobody came at the end worried about her. Not even just worried, just like, I think you would make a great addition to this team. Just foul play here. I don't know how to prove it, but there's foul play. I'm just like, and then the last thing that like really turned me upside down with the Ironheart series was just Riri's lack of knowledge of magic. Only because I feel like we're too far into a well-built MCU for Riri to still be blindsided or not know about magic. Meaning, like, oh, magic's not real. So who's Doctor Strange? Who, like, you know, the blip happened. Having her character be so ignorant of magic, given where we are in the MCU, is insane. It's insane. Like, not only that, it's just like in the first episode we see Riri talking, you know, with Natalie when they were alive, they were shooting the video, and they're talking about Thor, and I'm like, again, for Riri's character to have a lack of knowledge on magic, but then y'all understand that Thor exists in Thor's mythology, like, by those standards, Thor shouldn't exist. It's not tracking well. It's not tracking well with me, and it's not tracking well with how far we are into the MCU, pretty much. But overall, I thought the series was great. I thought, like, the suit and stuff and how it was built and how they had the suit interacting with Riri was amazing. And I just hope that we see Riri again somewhere down the line in the Young Avengers, like, coming to, like, save her or something, because, yeah, I'm like I said, I'm just not feeling that every other Young Avenger got like a happy ending, and then we're using Riri's show to bring Mephisto. I don't know. Billy was right there. Billy and Tommy are right there. Okay. Well, I rest my case. Let's move on. So the next show I got into, and I actually stumbled upon it during my nail appointment, is The Hunting Wives. I was like so engrossed into the plot of that show. I was like, what is this? This is so messy and dramatic. I love it. I specifically pretty much enjoyed how the show set up the themes of how Northerners look at Southerners and Southerners look at Northerners and vice versa. Like, I love that part, especially how we approach different topics, from abortions to gun laws to family values, and even down to access to opportunities. I definitely think there were a couple of scenes that portrayed, you know, the regional differences quite well. So starting with Sophie going to the boathouse with the women when Margot invited her over, and, you know, she asked everyone like, oh, hey, what do you guys do? And they said stay-at-home moms. And she was just like, you can tell Sophie's character kind of got sad about that, because it's like, you know, Graham moved them there so Sophie can get a fresh start. And it's just like, you know, that fresh start also includes like essentially her finding herself. And it's just like, maybe we can bond through other things that don't have to be rooted in being a stay-at-home mom. And it was just like, you can tell her character kind of gets disappointed when she asks everyone what they do, and they're like, we're stay-at-home moms. It's just like, oh my god, I can't escape the stay-at-home mom kind of timeline if I wanted to. And then basically they ask her like where's she from, and, you know, Sophie says she's from like a town over from Harvard, which I understand. Seeing how that scene got set up, especially when she said like near Harvard, and then you have Jill asking her, oh, so you think we're stupid? It was like, girl, what? No, like, it's just like the way they kind of like turn their noses at her when she said Harvard. But it's like, as a person who understands when you're living in a city that someone that, you know, people are not familiar with, you'll say like the next big town over or big city over that people are more familiar with. I know, like, I definitely learned that when I went to school in the South. And I would be like, where is this? And they'd be like, we'll just say a bigger city because you guys are familiar with the bigger cities. So, oh, okay. But yeah, and Jill's like, oh, so you think we're stupid? It's like, girl, no one said that. No one said that. No one thought that. But you. I'm like, oh. Okay. And then, you know, the next scene I thought portrayed the regional differences was definitely when Graham and Sophie went over to Jed and Margot's house for to have dinner with them. And what is it? Graham is that northerner that southerners think northerners are. Or at least all of them are. And it's all of us are. It's like, no. In terms of like, Graham was just like, well, I went to Harvard. And Jed was like, yes, you went to Harvard for like the upteen time telling us. And it was like, oof. Graham's identity is rooted in going to Harvard. Gross. And then the third scene, you have Sophie and Margot arguing in the motel, and then Sophie insinuating that Margot and her brother had an incestual relationship, and even said it in such a mocking the southern accent. It was like, ooh, girl, that was a low blow. That was the lowest of the lowest. So it was just like, it was so much regional differences going back and forth in the show, and I was just like, I was interested. I was enthralled. For Sophie's character, she kept giving me secondhand embarrassment. First and foremost, especially popping up on Margot whenever Margot wouldn't answer her phone. Like, oh, I came here to tell you because you weren't answering that this guy's father. Girl, if Margot is not crossing her T's and dotting her I's about this man, I'm not jumping. Excuse me. And then not only that, it's just like going to a boathouse for only all white women. I don't know, bro. We gonna have to meet in populated areas at all times. At all white women with one black woman. We're gonna have to meet in populated areas at all times. Like, do you want to come to a house? No. No, I do not. But we can meet in a public and populated place. I don't know. Sophie's safety was just not at the forefront of her mind in this show, and it was killing me because it's like, girl, safety first. Safety. Then in regard to the plot, I think Margot didn't expect Sophie to fight back. And when Sophie actually did, and basically Margot's plan was going to blow up eventually. But it worked out. Margot definitely was more intrigued by Sophie after that. Like, LOL? No? You put my life in danger? And you wanted me to go down for something? Because, okay. And then I think Margot and Sophie are like two sides of the same coin, especially when it comes to their husbands, because I think their husbands lean on them for social currency and kind of portraying a great family unit to fit into the communities, or either fit into the communities or find ways to serve their community. Jed, in this case, he's trying to serve the community by being running for governor, I think. Yeah, it was governor. And then Graham trying to fit into Jed's company as the new architect, which we're gonna get into that one. So how this all ties in, especially with Graham leaning on Sophie, is he leans on Sophie because, you know, she has a PR degree, and as a PR girly myself, listen, we don't want to be on all the time. Okay, we don't want to be on. It's okay. Sometimes we can work the room. Sometimes when we're off, please. But definitely he leans more into Sophie's like social skills because he has one. And especially we learn it that Graham is not really fitting in with the boys at the job, because at the NRA event, you know, Jed is like, oh, he's completely blowing us out of budget for the architect. And which makes me think, are you being blown out of budget? Or with the way we've been introduced to Jed's character and how he's been working, are you undercutting certain things and going around certain things in which you're not used to? And now you have Graham who is doing things by the book, and now it's blowing you out of budget. Is it blowing you out of budget, or are you just not used to doing things the correct way? Questions that need answers. Okay? Then when it comes to like Sophie and Graham's relationship, I definitely think they struggled to adjust to their new environment and kind of left each other to figure it out, which became even more problematic down the line for the plot because they weren't doing things as a unit. And then also, clearly this was Graham's decision to move them out here for a new space, and then Sophie kind of just has to deal with it in ways like, okay, how do we like navigate this? And then also the bigger issue to this entire plot is Sophie, because denial is a river in Egypt. I don't know, this could have all been solved had we figured out that one flashback with the roommate. I don't know, I'm just saying. Even though everyone plays their part in this to blame, everything is Jed's fault. Because him wanting to run for governor puts everything under a microscope, especially like his extracurricular activities would hinder him from doing a clean run. And it's just like, I definitely think Jed purposely changes wives on who can get him closer to whatever goal he's trying to reach, which the ultimate goal seemed to have been governor, because we also get some insight of him talking about he wanted to be governor with his last wife, but she didn't believe in it. And then you got Margot, and then I think he was gonna go for his assistant next, because it's just like, even Margot was like, you seem to know your way comfortably around his office, and then next you know they're sleeping together by the end of the series. It's like, yeah, so he's definitely hopping women who are not only feeding his desires, but who are also going to help him get him closer to being a governor, no matter how shitty his background looks. And that's insane. But overall, Hunting Wives is a hot mess. It's filled with drama, it's filled with mess, it's so much plots, so many things happening. I loved it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. Yeah, the next movie in my summer blockbuster list, and my favorite one with all the merch, Superman. My favorite comic book character, Superman. I have great thoughts and reviews on this movie. I'm so excited to share them. Let's get into it. First and foremost, I am a Superman fan through and through, and I am loving all of the Superman content we are getting, from the adventures of Superman to this movie to the merch. Like, I am loving it. I'm just waiting for Wonder Woman to get the same run and them giving us the WWE SmackDown moves from Justice League the animated series. That's all I'm waiting. That's all I'm waiting for. But let's get into Superman. All right, so let us talk Superman movie merch. All right, I'm gonna categorize them from Alamo Drafthouse to AMC to Regal. So Alamo Drafthouse was, actually no, let's start it in moments of that TikTok. Number 3, I don't think I have anything from AMC. I do have something from AMC, but not like a popcorn bucket or anything. But coming at number 3 was Regal. Regal movie merch for Superman was lackluster. And that's because I feel like it was just I think it was just like a tin can with pictures of Superman like posted on it. Boring. First and foremost, I already got a tin can from seeing Captain America 4 Brave New World in February. Like, I feel like a lot of the movie merch nowadays are like lackluster in terms of like they're just plastering photos on a tin can or something and just like, this is the merch. It's lazy. I hate it. Like, so Regal is number 3 for the merch, waiting for it to become better. Or actually, number 3 didn't really stick out to me, you know. Coming at number 2, well, actually, wait, hold on, rewind. The merch I did get from Regal was the Superman mug that I got offline. This was a pre-order and I finally got it. I love it. You know, in my universe, everything will be Superman filled. Everything. I loved it. Very excited to use this when winter comes up. So yeah, number 3, Regal did not stick out to me. Okay, so coming in at number 2 was AMC. I got this popcorn bucket with the Superman. It opens up here. Once I get it open. Oh my god. Yeah. So it opens up. It's a whole bottom piece to it and everything. Yeah. So this is the popcorn bucket. This is what I mean. I like gaudy. Give me gaudy, okay? Give me effort. This is what I like. And then for their cup, I got the Superman. The logo is plastered on it, but it's like it's a certain type of texture. Like, this is what I like. And then the cape is in the back. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the shit that I like. Okay, put effort into movie merch. I don't know what Regal was doing. And then these are wait, no. I'm missing one. It's 3 though. There's a crypto one. Hold on, let me go. No, because I need all 3 to complete this. So I got the 3rd one. So it's crypto, the Superman pendant, his shield, his crest, home family crest, and then Superman himself. And this all goes on top of the cup. AMC comes at number 2 because I'm waiting for them to be better. First and foremost, that gatekeeping, the merch behind a fucking ticket, insane. Absolutely not. Very annoyed by that. And then not only that, I went to 34th Street. They had the cup, but they sold out of these. Why are we selling out of something that is attached to the cup? How do you have the cup but not have these? They were lucky that I found this online on their AMC website to order, and it took like 1,000 years to get to me, but I got it. But 34th Street, AMC really pissed me off with that. Not only that, when I went to 42nd Street had it in stock, but again, it's gatekeep behind the ticket, and I already bought the ticket for 34th Street. Annoyed. So the process in trying to get the merch from AMC is very annoying, which is why AMC comes at number 2. Number 1. Number one. Who took the number 1 spot? Alamo Drafthouse. I love this popcorn bucket. Love it. Love the popcorn bucket. And actually goes with this. I wish Alamo Draft House would have combined it like this instead. But loved it. I loved it so much. I bought it. The only thing was, by the time I found out they were selling this, it was sold out. So the thing that pissed me off between Superman and Fantastic Four is what I noticed that they both did. All of their announcements of the merch of where everything is going to be were separate and coming from theaters themselves. So by the time I was finding out, or by the time I found out about what all movie theaters had, I was finding it off of fan pages, and they did like the whole graphic of where everything's at. I need the movie Instagram pages or social media pages to do better. We are there for the announcement of your movies and your stuff. Please announce, do the job. But yes, this one is my favorite. This one takes the top spot. No complaints, 10 out of 10, no notes. Only thing is like by the time I found it out, it was sold out online. And then I went into Alamo Draft House the day of, and he was like, let me see if we can sell this because, you know, things are on pre-order for everybody else. Why are we mixing the merch between the online pre-orders and people coming in person to get this? Okay. Okay. But the Superman merch, I loved it. 10 out of 10, no notes. And honestly, I only picked between Alamo Draft House, AMC, and Regal because those are the theaters that are closer to me or more conveniently to get to. While like Cinemark and them, I think Cinemark is like in New Jersey, and then there's like a couple others like in Long Island, Queens. Like ain't nobody going all the way over there for that. But yeah, number one, this one takes the top spot, and that's my merch for Superman. So pretty much when it comes to Superman, I can usually tell if a Superman series is gonna do well based on how well they develop Clark Kent versus Superman. I tend to notice that when shows focus more on developing Superman and not Clark Kent, we kind of get a Superman that does out of character shit, and it goes against what's in his lore. It's like, why is he doing this? Like, and at the same time, it affects his interactions, you know, with other fellow heroes and just the universe around him. Versus when we have a more developed Clark Kent, it informs his interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships with his universe. And I think the development of Clark Kent is key to whether or not we are going to get a good Superman movie. Another thing I loved, skipping 3 years of Superman lore and getting straight into him being a hero. Amazing. We don't have to start his story all over again. There is so much material out there for you to understand Superman. You got Smallville, you got Superman the animated series, you got the adventures of Lois and Superman, both the older version from like the 80s with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher, I think that's her last name, to now Bitsy Tulich and Tyler Hoechlin. There is so much Superman content out there. We do not need to restart his lore again. We understand his background story. And if you don't know it, just go back to those titles. Please, let's move. I definitely love that we were 3 years into his heroism. Tea. Lots of tea. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great. And it just helped us. I like when they kind of like skip past his lore and just put us in the middle of his heroism and kind of just do flashbacks when it comes down to like understanding certain aspects of why he does what he does. Like, okay, I can do that. I can work with that. Also, I love, I think David Cornsweet was a great casting choice for Superman, and I thought Nicholas Hoult was a great casting choice for Lex Luthor. Pretty cool. I also met Nicholas Hoult at the MegaCon Orlando Comic-Con. It was really cool, and he complimented my nails. He's like, whoa, those are like really long nails. Horrible accent, but for me. But yes, he complimented my nails. He was so cool, and he's so tall. He's so nice, just so giant. But yeah, I love the casting choices, and I loved how vibrant and colorful the movie was. We are free of Zack Snyder's dark-ass universe. Yes. Colorful, fun, vibrant, Superman making jokes, interacting so well with other heroes, and getting help. 10 out of 10. No notes. Like, I think it was refreshing to make Superman so joyful, youthful, and just trusting of his environment. Like, yes. And I especially loved them giving, I loved how this universe set him up with support, because a Superman with no support is a very insufferable character, which is how we get the deadbeat dad in the Adventures of Lois and Superman on the CW series. I said what I said. He's a deadbeat. Because when we get past that shield and his heroism, he's a deadbeat. Thank you. But not only that, it's just like the CW series, Superman and Supergirl, it's just, they were so insufferable because they had no support. And it was just like, I can shoulder this all on my own. And it was like, oh my God, bring back Superman with support. Bring it back. I don't know how, but bring it back. And beautiful. We got a Superman with support. Yes. My favorite scene was the 12-minute scene of Superman or Clark Kent and Lois Lane arguing about, Superman's stance in the geopolitical conflict. Loved it. Even though I know in the interview, James Gunn was just like, he was worried about putting a 12-minute argument scene in there. I was just like, no, I love this. I love it. People like me love it, okay? Because it definitely shows that, Superman's just like, I was just doing a good thing because it's right. And it's just like, no, boo. This brings a lot of problems when it comes to geopolitical relations, because even though you look at yourself as a world symbol, people look at you as a U.S. symbol. We have problems. We have problems that we have to mitigate. There are like processes to this. Like, hold on. And it's just, and he's just like, oh, I can deal with your question. And he was just like, oh, you did that on purpose with your question. Like, no, bro, these are realistic questions. It's just like, your articles are not that good because you are interviewing yourself. And now when you're up against a hard-hitting journalist that's actually asking you the hard questions about, your heroism and how it looks, we have problems. And he's just like, but I'm just helping people. Like, that's not how this works when we start going international. I also think that scene is important, and it's one of my favorites as well, because it calls back to when Dwayne McDuffie wanted to make Superman politically gray in the Justice League animated series, in terms of dealing with similar situations and how it kind of like changed Superman's character and made him more jaded. I think it was by season 2, especially where Lex Luthor was building that complex and him and Shazam battled it out, because Shazam was basically like the new Superman, like a refreshing perspective, versus like Superman being like 4 years into his heroism and finding out the world is not all peaches and rainbows, basically. I try not to say peaches and eggplants. But yeah, peaches and rainbows. So yeah, I thought I definitely like that callback that I did back in terms of Justice League animated series. And I think it's also important that I think this would be a great setup for Batman to kind of enter the conversation, and Batman being a billionaire, in terms of trying to help Clark understand how these things work on a political level, versus, yeah, we saved the day, but these are the hoops we have to jump through. These are the sticky conversations that we have as heroes, and especially when it comes to international conflict. I especially love their introduction of Ultraman, which is like a callback to the Crime Syndicate animated movie, where we got Superwoman, Ultraman, Owlman. His name is not Reverse Flash, Johnny something, whatever his name is. But yeah, we got Ultraman, and then, you know, he got kicked into the black hole, which I'm kind of hoping we get like a Bizarro Ultraman, maybe. I was kind of seeing it. It would be nice if we did get it. And then also, this would be a great introduction for Superboy, because clearly you have Lex now successfully cloning Superman. I don't know. There are possibilities in this universe. I like it. I like the possibilities I'm seeing. As for the other characters, I love Mr. Terrific. I thought he's pretty cool. I thought he's awesome, actually, especially his scene when he put his T-Spears force field around Lois while he fought all the bad guys. It was pretty cool. It was awesome. Kendra Saunders' version of Hawkgirl. I'm not familiar. I am more familiar with Shayera Hall and Kata Hall, so okay, I guess. Also the Screaming, yeah, like I said, I'm not too familiar with the Hawks, so everything's just more so, especially not too familiar with the Hawks really outside of the anime series, so it's like, okay. Supergirl, I'm going to reserve my thoughts on her until I see more, because I don't know, it's a little bit warped. I feel like I also need to like kind of empty out my brain of who I think Supergirl is based on that CW series. I feel like the CW series kind of like warped my mind a bit. So like, but I also do understand Supergirl's overall character, especially from the animated series. So it's like, I don't know, my mind is battling between CW Supergirl versus the anime Supergirls, because it's like, I know Millie Allie Cox Supergirl or James Gunn Supergirl, I am familiar with her antics from the animated series, but it's like the CW Supergirl is like, it has a chokehold on me. I don't know why. I'm gonna fix that. So I'm gonna reserve my thoughts on her until I see more. Essentially, I do not like that they're canonically making Supergirl younger than Superman. I hate it, because Supergirl's whole dilemma is that she's older than Kal-El, but she's just been in stasis, and you know, her ship is knocked off course, and it's like, you're coming to your cousin, and now which you're visibly younger, even though you're older than him, and it's a struggle. Like, I won't be able to see that struggle that I'm used to seeing. So it's like, okay, gonna see how it works out, you know. Another thing that about Superman's universe is I was kind of sad that the universe went back to an all-white cast except for Perry White. I liked when they diversified Superman's, you know, universe characters in the universe. So like, we had an Asian Lois, we had a black Jimmy, we had like Perry White's, they changed him to black for some time now, but it's like, it was a more diversified cast, and now it's just like his universe went back to all white. I'm like, okay. And then in terms of this Superman, like, I think Henry Cavill's Superman was uninteresting, dark, and one-dimensional, and it's because I think Henry Cavill as an actor is uninteresting and one-dimensional, and a little bit too much controversies under his belt that can't be swept under the rug. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, I don't think his Superman was very interesting. And then also paired with Zack Snyder's kind of dark ass universe, it was like, I don't know, this is boring. So I definitely think James Gunn's Superman, like I said, was vibrant, colorful, youthful, trusting, fun. Like, I walked out of the theater genuinely enjoying Superman and having fun with it, and like just seeing how fun things can be. I also definitely enjoyed that Superman like felt more comic booky. Like, things, all of these things in here don't have to make sense. Like, things with comic books, it's like, it don't have to make sense all the time. Like, so I definitely enjoyed, like I said, I looked out the movie theater after watching the Superman, having a good time. And I think that was what was definitely important to me. Like, I enjoyed the entire experience from, you know, the top of the movie to the end of the movie to the merch to everything. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Superman. And the last thing I'm going to say about Superman is that I pre-ordered the limited edition steelbook way before everybody else. I was like, yes. It came out actually the day the movie dropped in theaters. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm glad I was keeping on top of this, and I finally got it. I know the other version has the thing where it's a hologram or holographic, where it goes between Superman and Clark Kent. So cool. But I got it. I love it. Oh my god, it's so cool. It's the Fortress of Solitude, and it actually comes up like it's cool. Super cool. But yeah, that's all I got. Let's move on. I'm gonna geek out so much about this. So the next movie in my summer block list was Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, honestly, I was not about to see that movie because I was not a fan of the casting choice, but we move. And because of that, I kind of wasn't too pumped just in general about anything in the movie, but I'm glad that I kept an open mind because I ended up becoming pumped by the end. Yeah, so let's get into it. So honestly, it's the merch of Fantastic Four that had me excited about the entire experience in the movie. Definitely, and it led me down to getting my first cosplay costume as Invisible Woman. Very excited. I bought my cosplay costume from Sims Cosplay. It took about like 2 weeks to send to me. I had to actually change my order the same day that I bought it because they had like 2 versions of that costume. It was version 1, which is the original 4 Steps one, and then version 2, which was like a lighter blue, and I didn't want that one. But yeah, I got my costume in like 2 weeks. I did the squat test. The seam popped, but I will take responsibility because I had an extra layer on. So like, I understand, but I was like very nervous because, you know, I think in 1 week I was seeing the movie. So I was like, I gotta make sure this is like working. I know on that site, it's an option to tailor the costume to you, but I didn't want to do that. Just because I wanted my suit to have like a bit of breathing room. Like if I do this to my arms, I don't want the seam to pop, or in relevance, the seam popping when I did the squat test. But I got it fixed and I got my suit back and it fit. I definitely broke it in some more, so it kind of like loosened up. So I was like, yes. And I got so many compliments. It looks so good, and oh my god, I had so much fun in that costume, especially the day of, and I got the Herbie backpack to like match it and stuff. It was so cool. And they was just like, are you dressed up to go see Fantastic Four? What other movie would I be going to see? Huh? So the merch for Fantastic Four, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Okay, outside of my cosplay, first and foremost, let's talk. Okay, because I'm trying to figure out what to grab first. Number 3 was the Galactus bucket, and capitalism wins again because I ended up getting the Galactus bucket because of a black TikTok creator showing that she got it, and she did it to the DMX sound. It was Brenda, Letitia, LaShawn, Keisha, she showed all the different things that she got, and she also did a personal video on the Galactus bucket. At first, I was not a fan of the Galactus bucket because it's just big and it's doofy, and like I feel like when companies are trying to also sell something purple, it's almost like I feel like they never get the right shade of purple. I don't know, but I thought it was big and I thought it was doofy, and I was like, this is ugly, and what the hell am I gonna do with this? But so the black TikTok girly, and she showed it, and I was like, you know what, it's not that bad. So I ended up pre-ordering that one because I didn't get it in person because my feelings were still strong about them. But yeah, so that was number 3. You know, cool, but it didn't stick out to me. Number 2, it was AMC's. No, this is not AMC's bucket. This is Cinemark's bucket, and it comes with Mr. Fantastic's hand like stretched around, which I understand the controversy behind this because of how it like looks and how it presents. But hey, let's get our mind out of the gutter. The popcorn bucket was fire, okay? I ended up ordering this offline because this was, I think, being sold at Cinemark, and like I said, Cinemark is not conveniently close to me, so this is number 2. You know, yeah, it stuck out to me in some ways, and that was it. Really cool. I don't know, it was nice. It wasn't too bad to watch either. AMC, let's talk. Okay, number 1, AMC's Herbie bucket. Let me try to get it in frame. Look at this. So the popcorn bucket is right here in his back, and the soda goes up here in his head, right? And twist off and stuff. So it's got the straw piece up there. What else? It's battery operated up here. Battery operated where liquid drinks go. Okay, but I didn't pull out the tab, but basically it does a hologram of the number 4. So if you put your hand in front of it, or it's like a projector kind of thing. And then it also, what's that called? It also plays the Fantastic Four theme, kind of song. Yeah. So that's what it plays. It's really cool, really big. Pretty cool. Only thing I didn't like is that it had to come with the whole combo. So instead of just me wanting to purchase this, I had to get this, candy, popcorn, and a drink. AMC be doing the most for a theater that's fucking ugly and very not user friendly in terms of when I went to the AMC movie theater. Like, the seats are very fucking steep, right? And then the screen goes like all the way to the bottom. If AMC has no haters, I am no longer on this plane of existence. I am AMC's biggest hater. And I get very annoyed when I have to go there. Annoyed that I have to go there again, actually. The next thing, Regal and AMC had this, but I was at AMC, so I got it at AMC. And I like the Mr. Fantastic cup. So this one was definitely like one of my faves, my cools. And yeah, I thought the merch was pretty cool for Mr. Fantastic. I kind of wish they leaned more into the thing. That's what I noticed with the Galactus bucket, and why I wasn't really too much of a fan of it, is that they lean more into Galactus, which I understand he's the big bad, but it's like I didn't see any merch for the thing at all, which I thought would have been like really cool. And if there was merch for the thing, he was like mixed in with everybody else, same as Johnny. And then Invisible Woman, I know Nike dropped those new sneakers, the Air Jordan 1s with the invisible sole, which ugly, because why do I want my top of the foot showing at the, okay. I have notes when it comes to Invisible Woman's merch, because I feel like everyone tries to lean onto the invisible part, which I get, but it's like, you know, her powers also, I think, extends into like holographics and stuff, and just light rays and everything. So it's like I feel like companies don't really know how to build merch around Invisible Woman without trying to state the obvious of being invisible, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is pretty much all the merch and stuff I got for Fantastic Four, and it was just chef's kiss. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, no notes. Just annoyed by AMC policy. That's really it. And yeah. So I think Fantastic Four was good, but the ending definitely confused me, or the movie pretty much confused me because of Thunderbolt's ending credits and it not matching. Like, I think if Fantastic Four was like the restart of the MCU and this was the starting point, the movie's great. But because it is now attached to the current MCU timeline, I am confused. I am definitely confused about the movie and the ending, because now how did they get to Earth 616? You know, when clearly, you know, them trying to move their Earth, which stops an incursion, by the way, to a different universe to avoid Galactus, doesn't happen. So like I have questions. There's questions here. I don't know though. I'm excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. That's it. That's what I'm excited for. That's what I got. That's all I got from this, you know? And my last movie of the summer is him. Let's get into it. So I saw the Rotten Tomato reviews of him before it came out. But that did not deter me from going to see the movie because, you know, I was like, I'm gonna go see the movie. I love the soundtrack. Especially I love how it starts off with Lemonade by Gucci. I was just like, I was like, I definitely love the song that was created for the movie, which was Him by Denzel, I think Curry, I think. I think I have it in here. Yeah, but I definitely, I have some notes about the movie, starting with Marlon's character. I think with I was excited to see a serious Marlon, you know, but I think what turned me off at certain moments of Marlon's character is Marlon kind of breaking character to tell different jokes, and it kind of made the movie seem like scary movie. It was just like, I don't know, let's take this seriously. Like, I think, you know, Marlon is a great serious actor, actually. So just to see him like make certain jokes, I was just like, I don't know, I feel like we're watering down the serious moments a lot, and like I said, it feels like scary movie. And I was just like, no. But I will say, after Tyreek's character Cam saying he wants like 3 little thick-headed kids, and he was like, oh, you want a African American family, that sent me. I was like, no fucking way. Like, I don't know, I just think with Marlon's character, there are ways to tell jokes without having to fully, you know, break the scene of the moment. Especially when he asks Cam if Cam fucked his wife with the gun, and then showed the example. I was like, I don't think that was needed. Yeah, another great example of a serious actor who also has who's also good at comedy, Giancarlo Esposito. Him, like, he's always playing a serious character, but clearly he can also play a comedic character. But when he's playing a serious character, and the way he tells a joke, it's usually like a sly comment, or like, I'm not joking, but people take it as a joke, and it's like, no, I'm not joking. So I think I kind of more expected that with Marlon. Yeah, I was confused about Cam's character getting knocked upside the head by the dude, and by whatever he got knocked upside the head by, and then the movie kind of playing it off like, no, he was attacked, and and I was just like, did this actually happen, or is this like a portrayal, or a portrayal of Cam actually experiencing an injury on the field, and like they're scanning his brain and stuff? I think for me, that's what confused me. It was just like, what's going on here? Like, are y'all playing with he got brutally attacked, or did he get injured on the field, and this is the betrayal of it? So that's where I was like kind of confused. I also want to point out the man who came in that one scene where Isaiah White, Marlon's character, brought in, you know, the football players who were injured. The first one who was standing in front of everybody, he was so good looking. That's a good looking man. I was like, oh, wow. We're gonna figure that out. But he was very good looking. I think the overall issue with the movie is the fact that it had the potential to hit home, but ended up missing because it's just like trying to intersect, you know, football injuries, which is universal, to also race and how football deals with their black players. So it was like, I don't know, pick a side or find a better way to intersect both of those issues in a way. At least that's how I looked at it. But yeah, I thought the movie was good. I thought the soundtrack was really good. I always love a good soundtrack. I got like 5 albums, like maybe a little bit over 10 albums coming from movies alone. I love a good movie soundtrack. Pretty much, yeah. I thought the movie was pretty good. I will say though that theater etiquette is at an all-time low. Like, folks is going, I don't know what happened after COVID, but folks is going to movie theaters speaking in their normal tone voices as if we're in coffee shops and trying to dissect the movie like this is a Twitter timeline in real time. I'm like, we're fully in a movie theater, bro. I had the person next to me, I was like, are you gonna be speaking in your normal voice the entire time? And he was just like, oh, like, we'll control, like, this is like the 4th or 5th movie experience in which first it was Beyonce, then it was Blue Beetle, then it's this. So 3 times already. I feel like there's another time in there, but those are the 3 times I recall. Like, what are we doing? What, the Beyonce one pissed me off the most, especially because it's just like, I get it, like it's a showing of her concert, but it's still a movie theater. We don't have to sing to this. I promise you. We're trying to watch the movie. And then you got Blue Beetle, and then you got like, what is going on with theater etiquette? What is going on? Like, please bring theater etiquette back. Jesus. Ugh. So that was pretty much my summer roster of blockbusters and TV shows that I watched in my one canceled event. I'm not salty. I am. But I had a lot of fun this summer in terms of, like, you know, watching new movies and TV shows and getting to dissect them, especially as a passionate communications major, and loving kind of dissecting things and how they relate to us in real life. Very excited about having a chance to do that. Also, I know I've said before in like previous videos, I think it was like Rhode Island Comic Con video, where I'm about to slow down my presence at Comic Cons, only because it's just like my interest in them are waning, because I think I caught up on majority of the shows that I missed out as a kid, and just because, you know, I didn't have money, now I have adult money. But definitely yeah, the interest is waning. I know the Comic-Con that I was supposed to go to that was canceled was like the last leg of my shows, because it was more of the supernatural shows. So like Teen Wolf, The Vampire Diaries, Legacies, Supernatural, the originals, like those kind of things. And yeah, I think unless another Comic-Con comes up where it's mainly rooted in supernatural shows, where all the shows I named that I get to see all those actors in one come out, it's a done deal for Comic-Cons up until now. Just because it's like, I noticed that a lot of these shows as well, the show cast does not move as a unit. The only show that I've seen that move as a unit is the Flash cast, for the most part. Like, if 2 of them go, like, majority of that cast literally navigates over to that Comic-Con. But I noticed that a bunch of different shows kind of don't follow the same blueprint, and it's just like, I don't have time to kind of keep, you know, seeing 2 to 3, like 1 to 2 of the castmates at the time. Like, no, I want the full cast there, or at least I need to see 5 or more people that I want to see at this Comic-Con, you know. But yeah, overall, I had a really great summer. You know, this summer, it was a bunch of ups and downs, but I had definitely a lot of ups. One of them being my first successful summer semester, 4.0, lit. And I had a couple, like, and I got my motorcycle license, lit. There's a couple other things, but those are like my main highlights outside of like the movies and TV shows I saw. But definitely, I had a great time. I had a fun time. There's definitely one more episode of season 3, aka the season finale, before we move over to season 4, which is going to be so much fun. And yeah, next episode I think should be coming out November. And yeah, I had a great time sharing my thoughts on the amazing TV shows and movies that I saw this summer, and I hope you guys enjoyed my great thoughts on the TV shows and movies that I saw this summer as well. So with that being said, love, peace, and hair grease. I also got the new Secret stuff. But yeah, hair grease. And I will see you guys for the season finale of season 3 in November. Bye.